soon, per se, in Boquete, it will be 100% potable water. So that will be a huge benefit for everybody because, I mean, some people locally they can afford just to buy gallons of water every 4 days, right? So far, in some areas, most of the areas in Panama, water is 100% drinkable.
Perfect. We got a question about interest rates in banks and CDs. This is a good one because I actually just last week went through my banker with this and see what they are current. Now, you North Americans might be a little shocked with this one. Basic savings account from minimum balance pays around 2.5 to 3%. It can go up to 4% with a six-figure balance. CDs, 3 years, like certified deposits, 3 years can pay 5%. And then you can have products like education and retirement savings that can pay up to 7% in some of the credit unions. But these products you need to be a permanent resident, but you don't need to be a permanent resident just to open a savings account. So those are the numbers. They start around 3%. Some banks are only offering 2.5 now. Mine's offering 3.1, I think it is. And they can go to 4 depending on how much you have deposited. And then the longer term CDs can be 5 to 7 depending what product you are looking at. Okay. Ian, can you hear this? What is the best place to learn beginner Spanish ahead of getting there? And what okay, let's go beginner Spanish. This is the #1 referred one. I'm going to dump it in the chat. Duolingo. Duolingo can be on your phone. You can learn a little bit every day. It's free. And I think I just accidentally just sent that to Shirley. Sorry, everyone. Duolingo. Okay, I just put it in the chat now.
Now, me personally, I learned English by myself.
He did.
And I always use as a reference of any movies or TV channels they use with the subtitles. The main thing you have to start with a short vocabulary, like your greetings, your simple verbs, numbers. Very important to learn the numbers because when you're doing transactions, you're going to pay cash. You need to know all your numbers in Spanish and get familiar with. And also the main greetings, like how to say good morning, good afternoon. And this is the basic vocabulary you will need. How to order the check, how to ask where's the bathroom, simple things. And from there,
give me a beer.
Yeah, una más, one more. And then your vocabulary eventually will start growing. Now, don't get frustrated with yourselves if it's been X amount of time, you're still not fluent. I mean, it happens. But fortunately for most foreigners that live in Panama, Panama is very friendly, very English-friendly country. So you always will get by, no matter where you are.
Okay, let's open it up for a question from the group, Oscar. Okay, you're all on. Who wants to ask?
Hello.
You got several crackers in there for me? Thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Jamie, right now?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Lisa. Can you hear me?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, I have a question about mortgages and mortgage rates and how the banks of Panama deal with mortgages.
Well, with a foreigner, not so well, unless you're putting a lot of money down, like over half of it.
Yeah.
Typically, a mortgage here, consumer credit is very new in Panama. It wasn't until, I think what I've read is in 2002 that you could actually get a loan for a car, or 2003. But for people who work and have full-time jobs, it's fairly easy to get a mortgage. But for a foreigner, no, not so much.
And you need to, in order to get a mortgage, you need to have X amount of time owning a bank account in Panama with references, and also have like a statements, like a declaration of rent. That makes sense. And yeah, it's a process. and they lend you less than what would lend to a person that actually has an official job
But that, Lisa, is for the banks.
for the banks.
Not saying you can't get buy a house with private lender financing. That, there's lots of people want to get out of their homes here and they're offering great deals and stuff like that. So, but for as far as a bank though, it's very difficult.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No
You're
problem.
welcome.
Okay. We got, they're just piling up here. Okay. You said that anyone can open a savings account here, Greg. So next time I'm in Boquete, you can go to the bank and open an account? No. But I can tell you who to go to that you can open a bank. You're going to need certain things with you. You're going to need the last 2 years of the first 2 pages of your tax return. You're going to need your copies of your passport, second ID, proof of income, and $1,500 in cash. Not a check, not a money order, $1,500 in cash. And there is a bank in town across the country that you set up an appointment with and you'll leave with a bank account. So if you want that information, just get a hold of me after the call.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
You're welcome, Greg.
Okay. How pet friendly are the Panamanians? Okay. There's a lot of pets. I should say there's a lot of dogs running the streets. They're not all good
No,
pets.
but it has been a good evolution or transition. It used to be a lot of more street dogs when I just got here. But the beautiful influence of foreigners or expats is they're creating these organizations for like a rescue places where they do neutering programs, and the number has reduced a lot. But it's still, I mean, Panamanians from the city are more friendly or treat better the animals versus the small Panamanians from the small towns or indigenous per se, because it's lacking of education for the most part. But there is a huge awareness of how to better treat the animals, and not just the domestic animals, but also wildlife.
We have in Boquete here, we have dog camp, we have Animales,
Amigos animales,
Amigos Animal. I think we have 3 organizations that look after dogs and cats, and we have a spay and neuter clinic. This was the first, like, it's the biggest in Panama from what I've heard. How
Yeah.
many do they, like, did I hear 300 animals that they're spaying and neutering a month now?
Yeah, combining,
And
but
they have
it's
volunteer doctors that are expats here helping them do it, and they got the local doctors now helping them do it. So there's a great effort here in that aspect.
Even
of pets.
even with the organizations from United States like the Peace Corps. I know personally that a lot of volunteers from Peace Corps they get involved into those programs as well.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's ask questions. Okay, who is up next? Who wants a question? Or who wants an answer, I should be saying.
Oh, sure.
What do you guys want to talk about next?
Is anything any questions about, for instance, if you feel like you want to join us in our semi-private tour in Panama? Anything related to that you might want to know?
What's the cost of living after you own a house?
It depends how you want to live. I can put it that way. Well, if you're not paying rent, if you own a house outright, 2 people could live on $1,000 a month.
Oh, good.
Also live on $2,000 a month.
Or
You could live
5,000
on-
a month?
Like, depends on where you eat, how many times you go out. Because your electricity bill here where we live is going to be $25 a month. Your cell phone is going to be $32 a month.
How about 2,000 a month?
Your cable, your internet's going to be around $50 a month. Your property taxes, wrong button. The property taxes are quite low. The field is 0 to 125,000. There's no property tax. On the next range to 700,000, there's 0.5%. And then from 700,000 above, you get charged at the rate of 0.7%. So for example, on a $200,000 home, you would pay $375 a year property tax. But there's a kicker. That's if the house is more than 20 years old, because the first 20 years, or is it 25? Joanne would know this. Is it a 20-year property tax exemption or 25? It's one of those. There's no property tax at all, and that carries over if you sell the house. So if you bought a 10-year-old home, you don't have to worry about property taxes for 10 years. And then you're going to be paying that 0.5% above the $125,000 value. What other type of expenses haven't we talked about?
Well, the expenses like the recreation, Panama is very agile country. So let's say you want to have some downtime, you gotta get a car and you want to drive somewhere. Let's say you live in Boquete, but you want to go to Pedasi for the weekend. And then the gas here is very fairly good price, maybe less expensive than some areas in the States, maybe similar price to some areas in the States. But we don't, it's very short distance, and also the regular or local restaurants, you can get a meal for between $3 to $5. Some places, if you go really in the really local small villages, you can get a lunch for $2.50, easy.
I personally have a hard time spending more than $1,000 a month besides my housing, like a hard time. I would have to take a weekend vacation or something if I'm going to spend more than $1,000 in a month. So who actually asked that question?
Apple.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Apple. Hey, Apple.
Yeah, it's my computer's name. I'm Michael.
Hey, good to meet you. What else do you want us to fill in there?
Well, we've been to Panama and looked around, and we decided we're moving, and we're just we're retired and we'll be living on a fixed income. So, healthcare is a big issue for us, and we're going to buy a house and have it paid for. And so we're looking at our monthly expenses, what to expect. We figure if we have $2,000 a month for our monthly expenses, that's fine.
Yeah, because if you put say, you guys look young, so if you put $400 aside for your healthcare insurance and have the best healthcare you can buy, that would be the Cadillac version. And your food, I spend $200 a month. Some people might eat different. I eat mostly organic and all grass-fed meats and stuff like that. And my entire grocery bill is $200 a month. I don't eat out a lot. Some people eat out more.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the other bills, like your internet and your cable, like your utilities will come in under 150 for both of you.
Yeah, we're going to live in a higher elevation. We're looking at Altos del Maria.
Oh, yeah.
No,
And
the area is nice. Alto de Maria is nice. It's luxury for the area. But when you go to the local markets close by, it's very inexpensive. All the groceries, especially if you go to get groceries at the big grocery store like Ray or Sabrina 9 that is close by. I think that you got a big one, Ray, from Alto de Maria. Alto de Maria is very close to Valle de Antón, if I'm not wrong, right?
yes, it is.
Yeah. So you can, when you go to the market in Valle de Antón, it's very inexpensive. All the fruits and vegetables, when you go to the local market, that's my big suggestion. Always buy all the greens and fruits in the local markets, and just get the all items you might need from the grocery store, like a detergent, clean supplies, or other things, and then you end up saving even more money.
Yeah, don't move here to go buy your meats and your vegetables imported from the big grocery stores. Find out where the people locally are buying their beef and their pork from,
Or the chicken, the eggs.
You have some wonderful fresh seafood there.
Oh yeah.
I used to have, up in my place when I lived up on a mountain, I had a neighbor lady bring me a dozen eggs from her yard, like free-range eggs, every Sunday for $1. That's what you look for, and that's how you save the money. If you go buy your free-range eggs from the
You can get a
supermarket,
pineapple. I'm not kidding you. A pineapple this big in the season for $1, and as sweet as a candy.
Oh, that's the kind.
Oh yeah.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
When you were talking about healthcare with deductibles, does the rate get more reasonable with the higher the deductible, obviously?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I have a plan, and a lot of North Americans do this. You pick a low deductible locally, and my local is all of Central America, including Colombia, because I travel there quite a bit. So I have $1,000 deductible. Then I have a $10,000 deductible in North America. And when I do fly there, those 3 weeks out of every year, I buy gap insurance for that,
okay.
for like $25. Mhm.
And do the local hospitals have their own plans, or do you have to go through a regular insurance company?
There are some plans for local hospitals, a brand new one coming out next week. I'm going to be at the seminar, but this is through some of the international healthcare companies that offer healthcare here.
Okay.
Yeah, they all, there's about 6 of them that have offices in Panama.
So there's a lot of options. I mean, it's something to look at once we get there.
And
Yes,
everywhere,
sir.
you have to look at any pre-existing conditions, anything that could come up in the test, and some people that do these calls, or some of even our competitors, suggest don't going through an agent. We're the opposite. Go through the agent. Even if you pay 3% more, that's usually all it is.
Yeah.
You have that agent. When you get in trouble, I hate to say, I'm not going to say you, when the person gets in a car accident and is taken to the hospital and the spouse is trying to figure out what to do, you have someone to call. If
Right.
you go with an insurance company, you don't.
Yeah, sometimes try to save a minimum percentage.
Yeah.
It can be the difference between having a horrible experience or just smooth experience.
Yeah, I quoted agents, and we have a special one we use because she is that good. And you can call her later morning. She picks up her phone if you have a problem. And then I quoted the same package with the company, and they always come out close to the same.
Yeah. It's just using good judgment.
Some companies will accept this as a pre-existing condition, some won't.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know that. And none of the companies have literature in English either.
Oh, well, I grew up in Venezuela, so I still know some Spanish.
Oh,
Well, at least the fine print is in English. They'll have brochures to sell you. in English.
buenísimo. Te podemos hablar en español.
Yo soy un maracucho.
Eso. Nice. Awesome. That's beautiful.
Okay. Azura, a lot of meat mentioned, but I'm a vegetarian. How would that affect my options for attaining food? No, not a problem.
Not a
around
problem
here.
because
Many vegetarians and vegans.
yeah, especially if you end up choosing Chiriquí, this province, regardless where in Chiriquí,
Mhm.
but this province we produce over 75% of the greens and fruits and vegetables for all the country. We provide everything. We're pretty much a province very self-sustainable. Very easy to get by. Now, most gourmet restaurants are also very, very vegetarian friendly. So vegetarian will be fine. Now, raw vegan, you still fine as long because you have all the options. You have all the local markets. But if you go out to eat as a raw vegan, might not so much. But vegetarian, you're good to go.
Most restaurants, maybe
All the
not the
gourmet has
Panamanians,
vegetarian
all the
options.
all the decent restaurants all have vegetarian options here.
Yeah, and if you go to the local restaurant, but in Latin America we eat a lot of carbs and meat. But all you have to do is not put the meat in, and they usually have some veggies or salad or just rice and beans, and you can get by too as a vegetarian.
Question, as a European, could I work in Panama self-employed or for someone? If you come into Panama on a friendly nations visa, you can get a work permit. Now, you cannot work without a work permit. And depending on what you're going to be working on, there are a lot of protected jobs in Panama, everything from doctors, lawyers, architects to hairdressers are protected professions that you can't until you actually become a citizen. But as a foreigner, you can start your own business with a friendly nations visa. That's what it's for. It comes with a corporation. So you can start your own business and create your own income, or you can get a job. I have we both have work permits. We both came in. I came in friendly nations. I don't think it was around when you came.
No. When I got my residency, it's another type of it was like a type of amnesty. In Spanish, it's called crisol de razas, and I got it. But after 2022, I will become a full permanent resident, and
Yeah.
then in a year I'll become full citizen because I'm Colombian. So there is some agreements. It's like for someone who has Italian descendants. If you have Italian descendants with Italian passport, you get to residency permanently in 6 months, like that.
Just in the beginning, most people that get the friendly nations visa that come here early, like I came here when I was 46 and I started companies. That's what they do. To get a job in Panama, you're looking at 99+% of them require you to speak fluent Panamanian Spanish because that's what the country is. There's not a lot. There are some of the big companies and HPs and Dell that might have an English only position open. They don't happen very often, but I hope that answers your question. If not, just speak up or
And
ask
it's a
again.
chat.
Is coffee cheap because it's grown there? I wish it was cheaper. I guess it's cheaper
No.
than the US or Canada.
For the quality, it is.
Mhm.
I mean, you can get a pound of really acceptable, really good coffee for $6. pound.
At retail.
Yeah, retail. That's what I drink every day.
This
But
would
also,
compare to Starbucks $15 bag.
yeah.
Mhm.
But if you're looking, yeah, I mean, just in a specific farm, it's called the Lamassus family. They just broke the record worldwide, $1,030 a pound. But that's just blows your mind because that's just for a specific market. Like usually they sell this type of coffee for the Asian market. They're the only ones to pay that amount of money. But the rest of the coffee, you can get premium coffee at the most expensive, $15 a pound. But at the grocery stores, you can get all the options from $4, $3 a pound to $6 a pound, and very delicious Arabica medium roast.
Mhm. I don't know. The only thing is in the nice coffee shops, they seem to charge almost the same. Like you go to Starbucks here in the city, they still want $2 for a basic cup of
Yeah,
coffee.
that's
Irritates
what.
the heck out of me.
Yeah, that's what happens with the chains of the fancy coffee shops. But if you go to a local place, a local fonda, we call it here fonda to the local restaurants, you can get a coffee for 50 cents, 75 cents,
Yeah. Mhm.
$1.50 tops.
Okay. Greg says, you said Italian passport. What about EU passport? What did I say?
No, the Italian. So the
Yeah.
agreement is Panama has an agreement with the Italian, no other nationality. So all the Italians citizens is a type of convenience, is a diplomatic convenience. So I have a friend personally that he's one of my best friends. He's Italian. He's half Italian, half Colombian, but because he has Italian passport, he gets his e-cedula in 6 months, and he has work permit indefinitely. So that's why a lot of people, a lot of Italians influence here because of the same reason.
Okay. Hey, I have a Canadian question. How do Canadians find it difficult with, oh, the chat's bouncing. Sorry, I missed that. There we go. With the US exchange. In the beginning, you do, but once you live in a US dollarized economy, you just forget about it after a year. Now, I know your money comes in, even Canada Pension will pay you in US dollars. So you just have to think, get that conversion thing, forget about it, and realize, oh, I make this much US in my, and this is what I have to live on. So the dollar really hasn't swung much in the last 10 years. And as long as we don't get those 25% swings like we've had in the past, 2002 and in the 90s, I think you'll after a year, you'll forget about it and just realize a dollar's a dollar. And my dollar buys me this much instead of that much.
So even if the Canadian dollar is less than the US dollar, but you balance with the cost of living in Panama.
Okay. And part of the same question, how about single seniors? Is there a good community? There's a good seniors community here in Boquete. In Panama City, there's a larger singles community.
Bocas too.
Yeah.
Bocas, Pedací.
But I don't know of any senior singles groups here in Bocchetti? Do we have anything
There
like that?
is, I mean, at least for ladies, there is. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
guys,
yeah.
but the guys also, there is different groups in different towns, like hiking groups,
Yeah.
or painting groups, or drum groups. There is a lot of things that you can socialize, and there is a fair amount of number the single seniors they come here to move, and a lot of them they get to meet each other, and
Yeah.
hey,
Mhm. Yeah, they don't really call them seniors here. All expats, whether they're between 50 and 90, all hang out together, and every night there's a different activity on, and it's just lots and lots to do. Okay, we're almost caught up in the chat. We're going to open the line again. Is it difficult to find a 3-bedroom home for rent in Bocchetti?
no.
Between January and March, more difficult.
Oh yeah,
Besides
yeah.
that,
Wherever you want to look long term, don't look it in between January or between end of December and March.
March.
Yeah.
If you're moving here in January 1, consider finding something short term. Because
Yes.
you'll have a lot more options open up in April.
And usually the best options for price, you end up after April. You got all the best options for renting, but there is a lot of options, either from fancy options with 3-bedroom, or more Panamanian standard, more simple. You can go from 300 to 700, 1500.
Yeah. Your average price, something that a North American would want to live in, I would say would be between 600 and 1800. It's going to be your price range. 600 being a Panamanian style home, and 1800 being a North American style home. How I define those: a Panamanian style home, it's small kitchen, small bedrooms, just concrete block, metal roof. A American style home has your big kitchen, island, granite countertop, a dishwasher, stuff like that. Hot water at every sink. That's where the difference is. So, do you have good home builders in Bocchetti? I don't even know if I want to address that one.
Well, it is definitely more experience. A lot of people in the beginning of 2000 struggled because a lot of people just move at once. But right now there is decent contractors, and I will not say about the builders, but it's about the contractor. The contractor is the one that's going to handle the construction. If you want to have, if you're not like a busy, you want to manage the project with the contractor, I will say yes, do it. But if you don't want to stress, if you just want to like relax, come here and relax, just buy a home that's already built. You can add, you can modify some stuff, but it is a job, and no matter what, you have to always do your due diligence. I personally know some reliable contractors here in Panama that I can build you or do the landscape according to your needs, to your budget. Whatever you do for works here in Panama or anywhere in Latin America, do never pay in front. You make sure you got everything communicated. You sometimes just a little bit of the payment to start the work, but you gotta like always on top of everything.
I don't want to ditch the Panamanians and stuff. There are some good builders, but a lot of them, the quality of their work is not that good. And the building code here may have been written, but has never been read. So we've really got to watch. We do have some friends in town here that have been doing this for many, many years, and you're thinking about building, let us know so we can connect you with them, so you can get some proper land and connect with the right builder to make that thing even as smooth as possible. Okay, how much would 4 to 5 square feet cost? I don't know JMC what that means, so if you want to retype your question, 4 to 5,000 square feet, or I'm not sure what that means. Am I seeing that wrong?
No,
Okay.
how much? Okay, difficult to find. Oh, that's, well, I don't know.
Okay, Ian's looking to rent a 1-bedroom apartment from January 2020 to April 2020. You're kind of late, Ian. You got to get on there. You got to get all the places online. The Bocchetti Ning, the Facebook groups, and the Encuentra 24.
Or Airbnb.
Yeah, or Airbnb even. But for 3 months or 4 months, Airbnb might be a little expensive.
Yeah. But you gotta like look for that now.
It is high season. Boquete is a tourist town. Is it Boquete? Yeah, it was Boquete you were looking at. We have the Jazz Festival, which people sells out for a week. We have the Flower Festival, which sells out for 10
We have the
days.
Jazz Festival in February.
Yeah. Mhm.
We have the Orchid Festival in March. So,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
and on top of that is the high season because it's the best time of the year for the weather. So, a lot of people that come here to do wildlife, like hiking, or people that just run away from North America, escaping from the winter. That's why this area get very crowded these first 3 months of the year.
Mhm. Okay. Um, How is it to get around 400 or 500 square foot size? 400 or 500. There's actually quite a few little studios in that size available. I saw another one listed in my old place.
How much? How
Um,
big is the one I have?
Oh, yours bigger than that.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
The
your
studio?
studio? No, your studio is a little smaller than that.
Okay.
But depending for long term, you can get a studio new build for $450. That's not luxury, but nice.
Yeah.
In the 400 to 500 square foot, or a small one bedroom. 45,000 square feet. Okay, in a house, like that's a nice size house. Shipping belongings and vehicle. Oh, here's the question. I'll do the belongings. Oscar's going to do the vehicle. What should you? First of all, should you or should you not ship your belongings? If you're coming in on a pensionato visa, you get a $10,000 tax exemption on your belongings on bringing them in. The only problem is you can't bring them in until you get your visa, and that takes 4 to 6 months. So you're going to have to store your belongings at home. Now, do you really need all that stuff? It's going to cost you thousands of dollars for a container, thousands, 3 to 5. And once you get it here, is the stuff going to fit in the home that you buy? Panamanian homes or even American built homes here, we don't have 6 burner gas appliances or fridges that are the half size of a football field. Those aren't sold here. So we don't have homes that fit that North American style stuff. Maybe you have smaller living rooms so you really got to consider whether you want to keep all your stuff or whether you want to sell it and ship just some small stuff. So there are lots of shipping companies that do full containers. U-Pack, they should drop a container at your house. But there's small guys that do less. It's called LTC, less than container load. We can connect you with guys that do that. So maybe you're left with some paintings you like, or this chair that you just don't want to give up on, or like 2 or 3 pallets, and just ship that. So that's the thing. You have to come here and see, okay, can I get along without my belongings? If I'm going to rent for 6 to 12 months, most places come furnished anyways. So you don't want your belongings. And so really you got to make that decision about what you're going to ship and what you're not going to ship after you come here. Oscar, talk about shipping a car.
About the vehicle, very important is what kind of vehicle do you have? Because here in Panama is not so much of some brands you might, or some models of vehicles you might not find parts easier, or mechanics assistant for specific vehicles. Sometimes it's more expensive and have all the trouble to import the vehicle versus just sell your vehicle in the States and get a new one here or a second hand here in Panama. Unless in a specific, I have a friend of mine, he's bringing his Rubicon Jeep because he's a special modified. Now here a lot of people have Jeeps because people like to 4x4, especially in this province. And he's full aware he's gonna pay like at least $4,000 in taxes to bring it in. Now, when you have a pensionado, you can get deductible of some taxes, but sorry, this is my son, Phoenix, sorry, just the shoe. Sorry, my son is just making a noise. With the taxes, sometimes it's not even worth to try to save that money, because where you're going to save the pensionado visa for some taxes when you bring a vehicle, you end up paying the extra time or money and the storage in the port in Panama City, in Colón, or all the paperwork. You have to hire a lawyer to prove all your paperwork. You need to be have all the residency and everything ready. So unless it's something really, really good car that you know you're gonna have parts here in Panama and assistance, bring him in. And otherwise, always just sell the car in the States and get a second hand or new one here in Panama that you can find assistance and also parts.
What people, a lot of people don't realize, the pensionado visa for all its discount is excellent, except for the car thing and the personal belongings things. Because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to pay 5 months storage of your personal belongings. That's gonna outweigh, that's gonna cost more than, because you can't bring it here until you have that car. And then the car, if you bring a car in, when you sell it, that person has to pay the import tax, even if it's 5 years down the road. So it just doesn't make sense. We highly advise. And little thing, every car that every one of you guys own on here has a catalytic converter. They don't have those in Panama. So if you need exhaust work done, what are they doing? They're welding in pieces to try to fix their exhaust and put it back together.
Yeah, or
And then
sometimes
it's not going to run right because it doesn't have that
Yeah.
catalytic converter.
or sometimes people would like to bring their Buick, some
Yeah.
classic model Buicks or
Which they don't sell here. Right?
Escalade or it's just you have to end up bringing parts from the States and it's more of the hassle unless you're really very sentimental value, and then I can understand it because I love my car. So
Okay, hey Ian and everyone else, anyone want to look at rentals? Go to the blog retireinpanamatours.com. Go to blog, search for rentals. There's 3 or 4 articles on rentals. There's actually a category called rentals or housing, and it shows you all the different sites you can find rentals on. We're just lined up here, Oscar. I'll be coming a pensionado visa, arrive in April, May, on which to rent. Is there a standard length of time? Yeah, most leases are 6 months to a year. Long-term leases, the Panamanians love you. If you pay the rent on time, you'll be renting forever.
oh yeah,
I've had this place. I rent. I have a 2-bedroom. I can show you more pictures of it, but I don't want to move the computer. Something's going to unplug. But I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story on a quarter of an acre, 6-foot fence around with a gate for the driveway, and I pay $500 a month. So and I've had it for 4 years, and I see my landlord once a month when I pay the rent, and that's it. I can do whatever I want. I've painted, I've decorated, I put all the curtains up, just made it my own.
I have the similar thing like he has
Next door.
next door. Yeah, I
Which
know.
is kinda weird.
I can't stand it. This guy we work together. We almost
Neighbors.
live together. Come on. But I
Whoa.
pay $50 less.
Yeah, I've known people that have lived in their rentals home for 10 years. So. Okay, shipping belongings. Do you need to have residency? You don't need to have residency to receive stuff here. So you can, we have someone from our May tour is arriving on the 15th. Oscar's meeting them and their pets at the airport, and they have a shipment, I think, coming in on Monday. So they won't have the residency for another 4 months, but they shipped a small, like a pallet or 2 of their belongings because that's all they wanted. Mm-hmm. How do I get in touch with you? I sent the email info@retireinpanamatours. I put it in the chat. Okay. Is there a good hotel in Boquete, and is Paradise Garden an option? Oscar knows every hotel in Boquete. You know
Paradise Garden, it is no longer.
Yeah.
I know one Paradise Garden. It used to be in Volcancito, and it's no longer Paradise Garden. There is another place there owned by the European lady, but I'm not fully aware that they have as official hotel. However, there is plenty nice hotels in Boquete for all the budgets. It goes from $45 a night to $350, which we're talking about a small luxury boutique hotel like Panamonte is one of the most best and oldest hotels in the area, or Valle Escondido. You can have very central located rooms for $65, $75 too in the downtown area, which we use some of them. So it is options for all the budgets and all the tastes, all the convenience if you want to be right in downtown or a little bit outside if you're renting a car. But if you just want to have some freedom, no needing to rent a car, just kind of like stay in the town to walk around, there is plenty of options. Maybe not so fancy, but good enough for sure. Good enough.
Yeah, that's an interesting factor, Sonny. No, we don't have a problem with that. When you can live here as a tourist for 6 months and then go
180
home
days.
180 days. He always corrects me because I'm wrong. 180 days, go home for 30 days, come back for 180 days, and receive all the shipments you want here. So, mhm. Yeah, not really an issue. They haven't seen that. Okay, let us. Where did all the?
Inclusive of immigration.
Where did my
What
button
is
go? I thought I was just talking about it.
Here.
Yeah, you were listening to me. I just addressed that.
Oh,
I know you can't see the chat from where you're sitting. It's too far
no.
away.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are closing in on we passed our hour, and I think in a whirlwind we caught up on the chat. Is there a private airport in Boquete?
No.
No, someone's got a landing strip somewhere around here.
No, from no airport, you can land a helicopter in some specific locations, of course, with all the permits. But there is only a few spots of people. There is some lands and some Panamanians. They come here in their helicopters. But the only airport in this province is in David, the International Airport Enrique Malek. Yes, if you own your jet or your small plane, you can land there as long you have follow the procedures with the Aeronáutica Civil of the.
And it's only 30 minutes from here. So.
Mm-hmm. Unless you have a super duper airplane with the ones that lands just like this, and then.
Okay, this question here. I see Colombia in the question. I never answered this, but it's spelled right. It isn't spelled right.
Built in Colombia.
Colombia. Oscar.
I'm become a hater on that one. So
Sonny, this is going to be funny because obviously
I got a mug. So it's Colombia, not
days.
Colombia.
There's two O's in the Colombia. There's no U in Colombia.
Can cars be brought from Panama to Panama? From Colombia, not worth it. Unless it's something, because in Colombia we do have some cars that you cannot find anywhere in Panama or even in the States. For instance, we have some Chevy Classics that are very well maintained in Colombia, so it can be a lot more affordable to bring in. The tax, how much tax will pay from Colombia to Panama? Probably less than the tax of vehicle from Panama to Colombia.
Yeah. What's the model, make and model that your Columbia made vehicle that you've seen in the U.S. now, Sonny?
Yeah, I would like to know that.
Yeah, Bruce and Cynthia, thanks for coming.
Thanks for being in the chat, Bruce and Cindy.
We're in our wind down mode, guys, because I think the recording's already stopped because after the hour.
Yeah. Right now?
Oh, FJ Cruisers. We do have FJ Cruisers, but you mean the classic one or the new version?
Today? Oh, tell me when you're
Because we do
done.
have a lot of the FJ Cruisers, the classic ones. Yes, you can get it there. I can potentially, if you send this email, if you're serious about, because I'm going to Colombia in December, because I do, besides retiring in Panama, I do sometimes vacation, no relocation, but more like a tourist tours to Colombia. But I can search in Bogota many cities that you can find easy FJ Cruisers, the 6 cylinders gasoline. There is no diesel there.
It sounds great. We'll look for some.
Who's got last minute questions? We didn't, I skipped some questions in healthcare. I thought most of them were repeat. I don't know. There's many different, services. We don't have what you all know as 911. I cannot go to my cell phone and dial 911 here. Even if I did, someone Spanish would be on the other line. We have private services, and the one we use here is called Rodney Direct. Is the guy who runs it. It's a Panamanian guy. It's really great. But you always 24 hours, 7. They know where you live. They predetermine, because we don't have addresses on our houses. I can't say 123 Main Street. I can't order a pizza and tell them my address and they come. that I would have to give them full directions, like turn left at the coconut tree, that type of stuff. But we have a service that they find out exactly where you live. They tag your fence with a sign, and you phone them, and they get you all the help. It's like $75 a year. So that's something additional most expats also get. So a little peace of mind, and for everything. It's for not just if you need an ambulance. It's if the power line is down, or if you see an accident, or down the road, you can phone.
Or with the social media, you can always report or find help easier. Everyone is connected now with the phones and the Facebook.
Yeah.
Sure.
Alrighty. See
Well,
you, Sonny.
Thank you so much
2 weeks.
to everyone. Very well. I wanted to say thank you. Really appreciate your time.
No.
I hope that I can see some of you face to face, or even joining again this webinar. Very pleased to have this nice crowd.
And then if you guys have some one-on-one questions that you want to talk, you never got through, on the website, the phone number is on every page. I don't hide it from anybody. I'm not going to scare you away. It's a U.S. number, so it doesn't cost you anything. Give me a call sometime. If I don't answer, I'm either on the line or busy or message, and I'll get back to you. All right. Any other questions before we end it here?
No, no, man.
Thank you for coming, for joining us. You're always welcome here.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
See you,
Night,
Marie.
everybody.
See you, Shirley. See you, Greg. Greg,
Thank
we should chat sometime. We chat on email a lot. You should give me a call sometime. Ian, my fellow Canadian, we are going to talk.
Hi. What part of Canada are you from?
Vancouver.
I'm in just 70 miles west of Toronto.
Oh, you're the other Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. The better Canada.
Yeah, we should have a chat sometime, maybe tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah, I have time. You let me know when.
Yeah.
Mr. Ian, I'm very happy you are now able to hear us.
Yes, I had a problem with, it was my setting on the volume side. I was using my webcam, and I had to change it to your system.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's
better
all
late than
right.
never.
Yeah.
It works just beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I recorded the call. You'll get an email in a couple of days on it if you want.
Yeah,
to
I'm still looking for accommodation. I'm looking for a 1-bedroom apartment for myself and the wife for January 7th, 8th, right through till April 7th, 8th.
Oh yeah, you gotta look. Like I said, check out our blog and go to the rentals articles. And
Yeah, I'm on Ming or Bing or whatever that place is,
Yeah.
and I'm getting no responses at all.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we gotta shut it off for the night because the Zoom call is going to go dead.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you for joining us. Okay.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.